Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Versus System for Marvel, the unboxing. This is Crossover. This is Crossover Volume 1. It lists as being a crossover set for its arc. It's number 11 in the first year volume of sets. So the final issue of Volume 1 is a crossover. So this is actually a really neat set. So in the original game they released, or when it first came out, they had the base game, which had your four main teams, X-Men, Avengers, Guardians, and the villains. And then they released two more big expansions, which were A-Force, which had the A-Force and Femme Fatales. And then they released the next set, which is Defenders, which had Defenders and Underworlds. Then they released the Legacy box set, which is another big box set, which had additional cards for each of those teams. So you only really want to buy Legacy if you were going to buy all them sets. Because if you only bought the base set and you bought Legacy, you're not going to be able to use... I mean, you can still use those characters, you're just not going to have the full teams for all of them. And this crossovers they started doing when they switched to this format are the very similar type of thing. So this is going to add characters from all the other different sets that were released since then. All the different new teams, and like it's going to be at least a card for each, I think, usually, at least each different team that was released. So here we can see there's like a Blob, Spider-Man, and Arnim Zola. So you're going to have different team sets in there. So these crossover sets are, you can buy them and add them to anything, but we're going to get cards from every set. So here it's going to say you're going to get stuff from A-Force, Femme Fatale, Champions, Inhumans, Monsters Unleashed, Leviathan, S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra, Brotherhood of Mutants, Spider-Friends, and Sinister Syndicate. So it's basically little add-ons for each set. So it's like one type of card. Just to like kind of boost these sets up a little bit. So it's like a extra big booster pack, I guess. I really like the idea of that. I like expansions that expand on other expansions versus just always having to wait around for a full new set of characters. Alright, so we're going to start in here. We're going to have a couple new main characters. We're going to hit this off with the Hydra, Arnim Zola. So he's going to have ESP box. This game, you can play equipment as supporting characters instead of equipment. Instead, equipment played this way have the attack and defense equal to their cost, 1 health, and swarm. And they count as equipped characters. And then life is what you make it, level up 9. When a card appears on your side, Arnim Zola gains XP equal to its cost. So that's definitely interesting. You can just play equipment, like, whatever. Especially if you bought the Hydra set, because you'd have a bunch of the guns that cost 1. So you could play them really easily. And then we have level 2, he has a new robot body. So he loses the ability to play them equipment like that, but he has reaction. When this character is tailed, reveal cards from the top of your deck into revealing equipment. Put it on your side as a main character instead. With this power, put the rest of the cards in the bottom of your deck. Put on a main character instead with this power, then put the rest of the cards in the bottom of your deck. So he just keeps cycling into a new robot body as long as you have equipment cards in your deck. That's crazy. Plus it has 10 defense. That's crazy. It'll take a while to kill him anyhow. Our next new main characters for the Brotherhood, we're going to get Blob. It says Boing. Pay a green. Choose an attacker. If it strikes the Blob this combat, it also strikes itself. And immovable object. At the end of your turn, if Blob didn't move since the end of your last turn, he gains an XP. Then, when level 2, he's going to keep Boing, and he has Absorb Impact. Pay a blue. If Blob is defending, he can't be stunned this combat. At the end of combat, put a plus counter on him for each attacker that struck him. Nice. So he gets to branch out a bit. Our next character is going to be the level 1 Goblin. So now, this is a Sinister Six character, so, they have special abilities, which actually make their group unique. So it says here, There's also a Venom, and we'll show him off in a second thing. It says, when you build a Sinister 6 deck, you choose any 6 Sinister 6 characters to go with that deck. So that's how they work. So instead of having level 2s and level up abilities, you have 6 level 1 characters. And they have low health, like 1s and 2s, instead of higher ones. But if one's KO'd, you swap to the next one. You get to pick which one you want. So that's really cool. So then you basically get 6 characters where you get a bunch of different options. So he's going to have Bag of Tricks here. When Goblin enters combat, you may discard up to one location, each location below, then draw that many cards. For each location, discard this way in combat. You may discard up to one of each location below, and then draw that many cards to replace them. If you discard an Academy, Goblin strikes before any other character. A Laboratory. Goblin also strikes an enemy supporting character not in combat. Training Ground. When Goblin strikes a character, stun it. Fortress. When Goblin strikes a supporting character, KO it. And Oscorp. Their special one for the Sinister 6. 6 counts as a location you didn't discard. So that's kind of neat. There's some different effects. And then we'll look at Venom right away, who has Sinister 6 as well. It says Relentless Bond. At the end of your turn, put a plus counter on Venom. His power remains while Venom is stunned. And then he has Symbiosis. Venom can have and gain +1 counters while stunned. So even while he's stunned, he's going to keep gaining counters. So there's our 2 Sinister 6 characters. We have level 1, we have a Phil Coulson for the Shield team. The Special Agent, Coulson counts as an agent. And then Clearance, level 7, when another agent appears on your side, Coulson gains an XP. Because a lot of the Shield cards are agents, which when you play an agent, you gotta look at the number of cards on your deck per number of agents, and then rearrange it, and then put some on the bottom of your deck. So you gotta kind of like dig through your deck for what you're looking for. He has, I'm a guy with a plan. Pay a yellow-red, draw cards for each face-up agent on your side. And then our last main characters, we're going to get a bunch of these guys. We have Spider-Man 2029, Miguel O'Harris. So he has Spider-Friends team. He has Climb. At the start of your main phase, you may exhaust your location on your side. If you do, put a plus counter on Spider-Man 2099. And Rewritten DNA. At the start of your main phase, you may discard a character. If you do, Spider-Man gains an XP. And then when he levels up, he keeps his Climb ability. And he gains Venomous Fangs. When Spider-Man 2099 enters the melee combat, put 2 -1 counters on each character in combat. So he can boost himself up and he can knock his opponents down. Alright, so not every set is going to get a brand new main character. Some are going to get some new support characters to help out. So we're going to get a Hydra agent here. We got 4 copies of him. The Black Ant, who has Shrink. When Black Ant gets attacked for the first time each turn, you may cancel combat. And then Life Model Decoy. Pay green, put 3 +1 counters on Black Ant for each Black Ant supporting character in your KO pile. It's just kind of neat. Some little different abilities on him. We're going to get 1 copy of the Leviathan Twin Drake. That's because Leviathans are one of a kind and creatures. So Leviathan Overseer. Characters, Leviathan characters on your side with Comet Fall. Gain Comet Fall. Characters on your side lose and cannot gain Lumbering. I think it's supposed to mean characters without Comet Fall gain Comet Fall. And then characters lose Lumbering, and then characters on your side gain 1 less power symbol to use their superpower. Unless they have Comet Fall and they gain it a second time. I'm just going to see if it says that and hear it all. I don't think it mentioned that, because I think it's just a misprint. Yeah, it doesn't list that in here, so I'm wondering if that was a misprint. Might have to double check that online. Alright, so then we're going to get 4 copies of the Rhino to go with our Sinister 6 deck. Solitary Rhino can't team attack, and Headlong Charge. When Rhino attacks a character in an enemy front row, that character may sidestep. If it does, remove it from combat, and you choose a character in their back row as the new defender if able. We have a new champion. 4 copies of that one. Well, 4 copies of all of these, unless I say otherwise. Ironheart. We're all weirdos here. Supporting characters on our side can team attack with each other, ignoring team and row restrictions. That is crazy. We're going to get a new A-Force character. We have Sif, who in the A-Force video I did mention when we were looking at pictures. I thought it was weird we didn't have her. Goddess of War. As an additional cost to recruit Sif, pay 1 green. Yeah, it's just kind of neat. A little bit more powerful because she's a 6/6 for a 3, but that's one way to get around it. Another Monster Unleashed character is we're going to get the Abominable Snowman, which Abominable, when he appears, discard a card, and Snowman, when the Abominable Snowman strikes an enemy character, freeze it. Can't ready until after its next turn. We're going to get a shield supporting character. We got Mockingbird. Now play with our Hawkeye, who has Agent, and then Espionage. When Mockingbird appears, we'll get the cards from the top of an enemy's deck equal to the number of agents on your side. Put any number of them on the bottom. For Inhumans, we got Maximus, which is also kind of surprising he wasn't in the original. Upsir the Throne, pay 4 yellow, which is crazy. Move Maximus next to an enemy main character and KO it. If you do, Maximus becomes the main character on that side, loses this power, and heals all his wounds. So he's only going to have 2 health left. But you can KO another one. That's kind of crazy. So you can get rid of their bigger threat, possibly. We have, for the Brotherhood, we're going to get an Omega Red, who has Grab. Well, Omega Red is in the front row. Enemy characters can't fly over him. And Carbodanium Tentacles. Pay a red. Choose up to 2 enemy characters. Omega Red could melee attack on one side. For each one, daze it, or it can't strike back this turn. It's kind of neat just to choose, basically hit him with each one of his tentacles. You decide what you want to do with them. Neat. Then we have Dark Phoenix. So in the Femme Fatale set, we had Phoenix in the A4 set, Dark Phoenix in the Femme Fatale set. But because they have AKA Phoenix, they only had a Phoenix support character. They didn't have a Dark Phoenix. Now we get to add that one. So now you have 4 versions, which also work well with Rachel Summers' Phoenix powers as well. So you have Deconstruct the Universe. When you recruit Dark Phoenix, you may remove one of the following concepts from the game. Okay, so this is crazy. You can remove counters, either pluses or minuses, equipment, keyword text, levels, plot twists, or superpowers. So when you remove these from the game, an entire concept of the game gets removed from the game, even if she leaves play. The result of this, the wording of the card is unclear. Part of the unclear do nothing. So here's how it works. So just as an example here. Superpowers. Remove all superpowers from the game. Remove all the terms superpower from all cards for the rest of the game. Ignore any effects that would cause superpowers to enter the game in any way. Or if you remove counters, remove all the counters from the game. Remove the phrase counter +1 or minus from all cards. Any effects that would cause these counters to enter in any way. So basically, if you remove counters, no one has any. no one can play any. You can't use any effects that say game counters. If it says that, you just pretend it's blank. Same thing with equipment. Keywords, you can shut off keywords. Doesn't affect flying and range because they're not keywords. But includes all keywords that can't be turned off. Because you're not turning them off, you're getting rid of them. Plot twist makes sense. The other one that's kind of weird is levels. So if all main characters are going to become level 1 if possible. Remove all remaining level 2 and higher main characters from the game. Remove all level up powers and XP and leveling XP from the cards. And then ignore anything that would cause that to happen. So that's crazy that you can just destroy part of the game. Our final support character is a spider friend. Captain Universe. Specifically the Spider-Man version, aka Spider-Man. The Unipower chooses a partner. You pay less to recruit Captain Universe equal to the cost of Spider-Man supporting characters on your side. The time of peril has passed. At the end of your turn, if your main character's total remaining health is greater than or equal to the total remaining health of enemy characters, KO Captain Universe. So basically, if you're losing, he stays out. If you start to win, he goes away. But he's a cost 12, which is crazy. And then he has a 25-25, which is also nuts. So our last card for the set is going to be a plot twist called Stand Together. It has loyalty. You can only put this in your deck if all the cards in your team share an affiliation. And then has reaction when enemy character uses a superpower, cancel it if there are any face-up characters on your side greater than or equal to the number of power symbols they paid. So yeah, lots of them only cost 1, so you could probably block it most of the time. Sometimes you might get the ones that cost 3 or 4, which might be trickier depending on where you are in the game. But that is what we got for the crossover set number 1. Yeah, so a little bit of cards for every different type. So if you're just looking to add some stuff to your different decks, definitely a great way to pick it up. Unless you only play like one team and that's all you really care about, if you really need that card, this might be worth buying. But if you're just like, oh, I only play Spider-Man characters, so buying this specifically for, the 2 Spider-Man cards in the deck might not be worth it for you unless you find it cheap. But it's a fun way to add all your different decks, gives you more different options for stuff to do. And like I said, they've been making these at the end of each year, so that's really cool. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.